grant writer and small business development coach. I've been winning grants for 10 years, and I'm so blessed to have you on my live stream on this Saturday morning. Welcome into the Small Business Saturdays, friend. This is like the days where I love, like, when we have conversations about business, startup challenges, or even some of your wins that you have actually accomplished this week. So join the conversation. Make sure when you're coming into the live stream that you are liking the live stream so that way the YouTube algorithm can push it out to other entrepreneurs who want to join the conversation. Okay. So I'm so blessed to have you here. This week has been full of activities for me. And in this startup small business conversation, I want to know, what are your wins? What did you get accomplished this week? Over the week, right? Remember, and during this week, we went over so much. On Monday, we went over the 7 steps on how to, make sure that you are bringing your idea from out of your head and bringing it into reality. So what that looks like to truly start a business and really put effort into your idea. So on Monday, we went over those 7 steps. Then on Wednesday, right, we went over, I think Tuesday we did a grant, a grant live where I just, went over some general grant information. Yeah, I think that's what we did on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we went over 7 steps on how to actually set a goal and achieve them. And then Thursday, or I think Wednesday was off. Yeah, so I think Thursday we didn't come on live. And then yesterday we did a live grant search together. Yes. So we had fun this week. This week was very productive for me. I got new clients, new consultations, and I feel like we have new conversations that we can talk about just based off of the questions that I've been getting in my consultations. So I'm always bringing those types of concerns and questions that I have in my consultations, because you never know when someone is watching one of these live streams and you might have the same exact questions as well, and I can possibly answer them without you having to go through the hassle of trying to research yourself, or just harboring all of these questions in your mind and not getting them answered, right? So this week we had some really great conversations. You guys was booking some consultations with me, and I have some new consultations coming up this week. So I'm super excited about that. I was able to accomplish and complete over 5 business plans this week, and me and my team, we was able to write business grants for over 10 businesses this week. So that's really good. So we got a lot done. Now, there's some new tech things that I'm doing. And if you guys don't know, I'm into other businesses as well. I may be a 10-year grant writer and grant winner, and also a small business development coach, but I'm also invested into other businesses. I'm invested into tech, agriculture, and also real estate. So I'm not into your traditional real estate that you would get into in the United States. No. United States real estate, it just comes with too much politics, too many rules, and you never really actually own the property or even the land. But for me, I got into international real estate, and I started back when I was living in Panama. And I think that it was really cool. Panama is going to be one of those most visited cities that is going to, or countries that within the next 5 years. And a lot of Americans actually live there. And believe it or not, a lot of Americans actually retire and they move to Panama. Panama is like, the Miami version, but it's just like totally everything's in Spanish, right? So you will have to tighten up on your Spanish, but nevertheless, there are places inside of Panama City that are like, a lot of their people are English speaking, so you won't have any problems. So I got into international real estate. So far, so good. I was able to receive an email this week as well about like what's going on with the development. So I think that that was really cool. And also agriculture. So let me tell you, since I've been out here in Africa, I have never met so many like black billionaires and millionaires ever before, like more than ever before. And I used to live in Atlanta. Okay, and Atlanta got a lot of black millionaires, but out here in Africa, or just outside of the country, there's a lot more millionaires and billionaires who are of different ethnic groups, and they are into things like agriculture, manufacturing. They're also into oil, right, and gas. They're into tech. So I decided to like get into, discover my way, find my way into one of these markets, because I mean, in America, they are pushing so much about being a content creator. They're pushing so much about you see so many videos out here about how to start a YouTube channel or how to start your own e-commerce store. When really they're just giving you the low-hanging fruits. To be extremely fruitful and to really reach the top, like to really make some money, is to get into things that people need the most. Agriculture is like top tier. People need to eat food, period. So whether you are growing avocados, whether you are growing livestock like cows, rams, goats, sheep, whatever have you, chickens, and then vegetables as well, whatever you decide to grow, it is so worth it because people will always need it all over the world, right? So I got into livestock, whereas I decided to buy some cows. And I'm here to reassure you that you might think that it costs a lot of money, but because you're doing it internationally and you're not, buying livestock and doing all of this stuff in the US, it's actually quite affordable. I mean, it's actually cheaper than you starting your own food truck back at home in the US. Yeah, and you can make a lot. Your return is a lot more. So imagine spending like $700 on a few cows, and by the end of the year, you have a full stock of, that you can sell. And once you sell, you just put that same $700 back in there, and you add your own into there, and then you keep building from there. Before you know it, you'll have a whole herd of cows. And also, you don't even have to do the hassle. You don't have to feed them every day. You don't have to physically be there every day to make sure that your livestock is doing well. Same thing with like rice farming as well as avocado farming or whatever have you, whether you want to do fruits, vegetables, or livestock. And I think that is very interesting. Since I've been out here in Africa, I've been able to understand exactly what that's like. And I've dabbled and dabbled into it. And so far, so good. So this week I've been able to get some really good updates on those on the agriculture business as well. And then tech. All right. So what I've had going on with tech. So if you guys don't know, I'm a co-founder to two tech companies. One is a fintech idea, and another one is a general service app, right? Or a general service tech idea. So everything's been moving forward with that. I've learned so much about how to develop your own tech project within these last couple of months, and it's just been so educational and so motivating. I've been able to learn about, what are the first steps that I need to take, right? What are the resources and tools that I need to have? And who is the team? What does the team look like? And what credentials do they need to have? So I've been able to learn about that. And so far, so good. We are starting on these new projects. I'm getting everything rolled out. And the current clients that I have, right, they are going to be my first, like, not guinea pigs, but you guys are going to be first to be able to experience my new tech projects simply because I want to get some feedback. And feedback is getting results, right? And we sell results, right? We talked about that on Monday. So, you all who are joining me now, and I want to thank you so much for taking your time out this Saturday. I hope you had a really good Friday as well. All right. I hope you had a great Friday. But for those of you who are joining me, definitely tell me what are some of your wins. What have you been able to experience this week? And what production have you been able to make? Have you been able to make anything move in your business this week? So let me know. Hey, what's going on? Hey, nice to meet you. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you so much. So yeah, let me know. Um, I always say this, it's very important for you to prioritize what you want to do. I believe that, I don't know, when I go back home to Miami in August, I'm going to be able to see what's really been going on with the mindsets of my clients and also my people. But I want to know, are you guys kind of demotivated to start a business? Is it the idea that it's hard to get funding, so that's why you don't want to start a business? Is it the idea that grants is too hard to get, so you don't want to start a business? Have you been able to see a lot of businesses fail since 2020 started and now it has spooked you and it's made you like feel like, you know what, I don't think I can do this. It's too much work. I want to know. Comment down below what has been going on. Have you actually been making progress in your business? I hope everybody is doing well this beautiful Saturday. We're not going to take too much time today on live stream. I hope you guys have been having a great day. Oh, also yesterday we went over 4 really good grants that I think that are well. I've noticed that even in the grant world, that these grants are actually looking for small businesses that have been generating revenue. I talked about this yesterday, but I want to bring it back into our conversations today while you are typing away. So I've noticed that if you actually generate revenue, right, then you have more grant opportunities and higher chances of getting approved to any funding opportunity because it shows that you have a proof of concept. The proof of concept is essentially saying, hey, you have a service or product, you've been able to create awareness about it, so you've been able to get your client, and then you've also been able to make money from it. Once you make your first $500 to $1,000, that is your proof of concept that you have a really good business here. It works, and you should be going for funding opportunities. It's no need for you to stress yourself out about, oh, I just simply want funding right now because I need funding in order to start my business. How about we start somewhere small? I mean, the small wins is what gets big results. The small wins is what gets big results. So if you are starting a cleaning company and you know you want to do commercial cleaning, but you don't have all of the necessary products, the tools, and you also don't have the resources that you need to be able to market out to those companies, and you don't have an idea of how to do that yet, then let's start small. Can you start cleaning houses within your neighborhood? And can you start developing relationships with your neighbors? And then they can give you some sort of testimonial that can go on your webpage and on your social media channels that will help you create more awareness about your service, and then you'll be able to get more residential clients, potentially signing or getting your first high ticket client, which might be an Airbnb owner. Being consistent with that particular Airbnb owner who has like over 7 properties in 7 locations, and by you being a trustworthy cleaning company, now you've started small from your home, right? So like I said, you can choose 3 neighbors, they can already be your friends or whatever have you, and you use the cleaning products that you have now. Also, do some research on how you can get like what's called a net term account. So find out if you can get like some sort of janitorial credit, and then they will allow you to get like your brooms and your caddy and all of that stuff right now. You'll be able to get all of the supplies that you need right now, so you can be able to clean those houses in your neighborhood, especially if you live in one of those quiet neighborhoods that has like a 55 and older residential space inside of it. Absolutely perfect. The 55 and older crew, the senior crew, absolutely don't have the time, or they just don't have the energy to be able to thoroughly clean their homes. So if you know some of your neighbors might be, elderly, then start right there. Build your trust with them, and also use them as client testimonies. Like I said, put those testimonies on social media and be consistent with that. Also, give out some information, like what are the you can also give out some information on the best ways to create your own in-house cleaning product. Let's say like window cleaner. I know like some of my friends back in Panama and also Dominican Republic, they use like vinegar and lemon, right? And believe it or not, vinegar and lemon cleans glass really well. So you can give education on your social media channels about how to create your like do it yourself at home cleaning products, and the best ways to clean and the easiest, most effective way to clean. Also, don't forget about ASMR type of content. So you would use one of these mics and you would put it like on your broom or on your dustpan, and you would clean these areas. But that type of content is very like it goes viral a lot. It's no different from when you're sitting at home and you're watching somebody clean a rug, right? Those types of ASMR videos go viral, and they will also build your awareness about what your cleaning company does. So there's your content piece right there. But what I'm telling you is you are starting small. Ultimately, the goal is for you to be cleaning these commercial places, right? You want to clean these big law offices. You want to clean these big clinics, and you want to clean the banks and all of these big towers and buildings in your local city, state, and town, right? Of course, you want to do that. But before you get there, you have to start building relationships and be a trustworthy company with the clients that you can reach right now. So the small wins always, always, okay, bring big results for sure. So I've been able to get some small wins this week as well. I'm hoping you were as well. But I just want you guys to start thinking more on that path and then actually start to execute it. You know what I mean? Don't be afraid. Earlier this week, I had received one of somebody in the chat was like, how do you know if you have the confidence, or how do you know if you have the right bundle deals or the right product, the right prices for your products and services. So the best way for you to have confidence when you are selling your product and services, if we are talking about numbers and reassuring yourself that you are worth it and your product and service is worth it, it's important for you to do what's called market research. I'm pretty sure you've heard this before, but it's really a thing. You need to figure out who else in your area, who's your competition, how much are they selling their products and services, what are you bringing different to the table, and then also you can price based off of who your competition is, and also you can price based off of your work ethic, right? Your efforts. So if going back to, let's say, the cleaning example, you may have someone on Angie's list that um, always has bookings or whatever have you. They always, you know, let's say Molly the Maid, right? Molly the Maid is pretty well known, like a commercial cleaning company. Okay, so Molly the Maid might be your competition. Let's say, per one bedroom apartment or whatever have you, they're charging like $300 to come and do a deep clean. You might charge 200, 270, right? And what the products you will be using, all of those things will be taken in consideration, but also you're going to be adding extra value in it. Whereas Molly the Maid might not clean your refrigerator and oven, but you might do that, and that might be a part of your deep clean. You know what I mean? In addition to that, you might be able to add a service, which is doing laundry. Okay. The reason why you will make yourself more affordable and you would not start your prices out at 300 is simply because you are a startup. Nobody knows you, nobody knows your name. So until you are able to build client relationship, and start to develop, right? Start to develop your trust within your community, then that's when you can start pricing up. But when you are starting as a small business, you have not received a client, right? You have not generated any revenue at all, then your focus is to try to prove to yourself that you can get a client and you can reach that goal, right? So most cases $500 to $1,000, and once you've made your first $1,000 and you put that in your business bank account, then you will be good to go. Remember, it's important for you to have a business bank account. I noticed in my consultations as well that you all have your LLC, you have your EIN, you are in the middle of developing your website, but honestly, I feel like a lot of y'all just been doing this website thing since 2020. And then you have all of the basics, but you don't have a business plan. You don't have a pitch deck. You don't have a 3-minute pitch video that talks about what your services and products is. You also do not have a business bank account. That's kind of like we only did half of the work, but we didn't do the full foundations. It's very important for you to have a business bank account, especially if you are going for business funding, whether that's loans, lines of credit, credit cards, or grants, whatever have you. You need to have a business bank account. When you get approved to a grant opportunity, they need to deposit the grant award into your business bank account, not into yours. When you are looking for a loan, then you need to have built a business banking relationship with that bank. How do you build a relationship with the bank? Start putting money in there. They make money off of your deposits and your withdrawals. If you're not using the bank account, then you coming to ask the bank for a loan without building a relationship just looks like a handout. And in 2025, during these political and economical times, nobody's nobody's giving out anything for free or as just like as a handout. Simple. Even when you are going for grants, even though grants technically is debt free money that you don't have to pay back, you still have to explain how you will use the money, why you are deserving of the money. What is your service and product? Who is your competition and what makes you different? Right? How are you going to be impactful to your clients? So you are still giving some sort of information to really explain how you would be able to be develop, right? Develop your business simply off of this grant opportunity. But in order for you to receive the funds, in order for you to receive the funding, in order for you to get the money, you need to have a business bank account. So I noticed you guys don't have a business bank account. My favorite bank is Chase Bank. JP Morgan Chase Bank is just like, first of all, number one in my eyes as far as insecurity. Also, number one in my eyes when it comes down to having the necessary means and the money to be able to give out loans. JP Morgan Chase is very well known for investing into a lot of different businesses. And so I want to build my relationship with JP Morgan Chase well enough to a point where I can actually reach out to them for an investment capital opportunity, something much greater and bigger than just going for a loan. So I chose the bank that serves in my favor based off of my goals. For some of you all, you live in certain city, states, towns, and zip codes that you can use your local credit unions, which will give you more incentives. Like if you open up a small business, small business account with your local credit union, they might give you $300 for the first 90 days of opening, or they might give you, a higher chance at winning a loan or whatever have you. So it's very important for you to do the necessary research. I like JP Morgan Chase. I'm also a global grant writer and a global small business development coach. So I also have clients in the UK and also here in Africa. So I wanted to be very flexible, and Chase just so happens to be that bank that is very flexible for me as well internationally, and also being able to receive money in different currencies and then it converts to USD. All right, so it's Chase is just a bank that I like, that I've been with them and I chose, but you choose a bank that serves in your favor. Take a look at what the most recent news about them. And also you need, if you're going for a loan, you definitely want to ask questions like, how often do you guys give out loans to Black businesses? How often do you guys give out loans to veteran owned companies? How often do you guys give out loans or opportunities to women entrepreneurs? It's important that you ask these certain questions because it will reassure you on whether or not you should open up the bank account. The day you open up that bank account, it does cost you money to be able to keep it active if you're not holding money in it. Yes, there's something called bank fees. So you got to be very strategic on the type of bank that you go with. Okay, cool. Greetings from Canada, trying to start content repurposing and social media management service based business, but no funds to get started. Set up my systems due to no funds because of unemployment. God bless you. I totally understand. Now, being resourceful is like very important in entrepreneurship. That's the best advice I can give anybody from my 10 years of experience. I've been an entrepreneur for 10 years. Nobody has given me a handout. I didn't even ask for it either. I definitely didn't ask for it. I've always had the mindset of how can I make this work for sure? How can I make it work? How can what can I sell? What problems can I solve that has something to do with my business, right? So when I first started, when I first started 10 years ago, okay, I started doing credit repair. So I started repairing people credit. When you are repairing someone's credit or helping them financially, like repair their finances and get on the right track of developing a good relationship with money, people are not so open to sharing their personal information. And at the beginning, when I first wanted to repair credit and get into that, I used to think to myself, like, nobody's going to give me their social security number so I can be able to look at their credit report. Most people are not going to be open with doing that. This is very personal. This is personal information. So I even had my own doubts, but I had to get out of my own way and say, you know what? Let's focus on let's focus on solving the problem. If I know that I can repair credit, I've repaired my own credit, my mom's, my friends, right? And even some of my coworkers where I used to work at Capital One. If I know that I can do this and I have results just based on what I've done with my own family and friends, and they all say like they're all happy, right? Then why not? Why can't I try it out? Trust me, I had those doubts, but I did, and I tried it out. I started a fresh Instagram, and what I did was I just started putting out content about the best ways to repair your own credit, or the best credit platforms to use to find a credit score and all of those things. And then before you know it, people started DMing me. And then I just started repairing people's credit for a low price of $50. $50 a month, I will repair your credit. Okay, that was it. Within the first 30 days of me doing that, I actually made $10,000. My first 30 days of entrepreneurship and having faith and getting out of my own way allowed me to make $10,000. I was able to literally change my entire life from that point on. The sacrifices I made was I quit my job, and I also, the last check, which was $1,000, the last check that they gave me, I had to live off of that check. So I did not pay my rent. I got evicted out of my apartment. What I did was I used some of that money. I had to give my mom some because I was helping her take care of my brothers. And then also the rest of the money I had to do my best with trying to survive, which is staying in like hotels and Airbnbs until I was able to really push forward. I started making money within that week. So even though I had made $10,000, my living situation was so challenging at the time that I didn't get to see the full whop of $10,000 at all. So I'm having like 5 or 7 people, you know, pay me like $50 a day type of thing. Like, this is what's going on. But, and then, I might have one day where I'm making like all of this money. Then I was able to build from there. That second month allowed me to actually get a new apartment and then go to the next level. By the time I got to the end of that second month, that's when I started thinking I have to reinvest into this business. So I started learning a little bit more about ad marketing and ads. Also, at the time, the person who I was like dating, they were really good with marketing and promoting as well. So then I had help from the person I was dating, as well as I knew that I had to start using some of this money and reinvesting it into the business and like ads and stuff like that. The ads was not perfect. I sat down, I being resourceful. I did not hire somebody to do marketing for me or anything like that. What I did was I was resourceful. I knew that my boyfriend at the time knew how to do this marketing. He knew how to do that. Okay, that's being resourceful. I'm dating you, something got to give. We're doing this together. And then also being resourceful, I had to create the post. So I started learning about Canva, and I said, okay, how does this work? So I started creating my own posts, and they were not pretty, but they got the job done. Then I started creating my own videos. Then that's when I started my YouTube channel, right? A few years later, I started my YouTube channel, and I started making videos about like credit repair and how to repair your credit. I'm telling you my journey simply because I'm showing you how resourceful I was. I literally quit my job to sacrifice me being able to, as a sacrifice. I quit my job, and I also got evicted out of my apartment just so I can prioritize my business. And it was the best decision I ever made. Besides me moving outside of the United States, that had to be one of the most pinnacle points of my life. And I come from a background of you have to work to make it to make something happen. My grandmother raised me, so my grandmother worked, like, she literally worked her job until the day she passed away. Matter of fact, on the day she passed away, which was last year September, she was actually up getting ready to go to work, and she had a stroke, and she passed away. So my grandma literally worked all the way until she died. So I come from that type of mindset of you have to work, you have to work, you have to work. I came from that employee mindset, you understand? But when you want it so bad, and when you are actually tired of keep talking about it and talking about it and talking about it, when you are actually tired of like seeing other people live your dreams, You eventually you got to get disciplined on your own self, and you have to be like, you know what, I'm about to get out of my own way. Whatever happens happens. I have nothing to lose at this point. I'm already not living the life that I dream and that I would love. So you know what, I might as well just go ahead and do it, put all of my faith and effort into it, but be strategic about it. People fail when they say don't put all your eggs in one basket. What that also means is be very strategic on the way that you move. Make smart decisions, not scary decisions. Yes, when you are developing a small business, when you are starting a company and you are looking to reach those income goals, and your overall reason for doing this is to create generational wealth, as y'all say, or to experience financial freedom, then I'm telling you now, it is going to be a a consistent, fearful journey. Okay. It's like being in the wilderness at night. It's fearful. Every step you take, you just like, it feel like you're on eggshells. You don't know what the outcome might be. But you have to have faith that it will all work out. Being resourceful, finding out what are some resources and tools and supplies that you can use right now to be able to solve your problems for your clients. That is how you're going to be able to start generating revenue. Finding out ways that you can gain resources and tools right now. We have this internet. Right now is actually the easiest time to start a business. It's the easiest time. I started my business before COVID, before ChatGPT, way before that, 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 way before that. Okay, I started my business a long time ago. Now you got ChatGPT, where you could simply download OpenAI on your phone, ChatGPT, and ask ChatGPT how to start this particular business. And ask ChatGPT, if I had this amount of money in my savings account right now, or if I don't have no money and I lost my job, how can I be able to start my business still? I want to start small because I understand small wins brings big results. You understand? Okay, so what y'all saying in the chat? Love your content, by the way. Thank you so much, Ashioma, Asho. I'm hoping I'm saying it right. I'm sorry. Let me see. Hey, what's going on? Lovely Diana says, hi, I have been buying my supplies with my own money. I've been wondering if there is a startup grant that I could apply for that could help me with supplies I need. So lovely Diana, if you have been, welcome to entrepreneurship. You will always have to pay for your own supplies and equipment. You will always have to pay these, it's called bills. I pay monthly bills just for having a client management software, CMS, to be able to hold my client's information. You understand? So sometimes there can be a grant, very seldom, but there can be a grant where they do want to help you in your particular industry. It depends on what industry you're into and how, like, what you're going to do and all of those good things. Having a business plan would definitely help you out with that. But usually you would not find a grant specifically for your, like, that need. You would just go for grants that are targeted towards how you solve your problem for your clients, targeted towards the type of clients that you serve, and also targeted towards you as the entrepreneur type, your demographic. So if you are a woman entrepreneur and they have a $10,000 grant out here for women entrepreneurs, then you could just simply go for that grant and use that $10,000 to be able to purchase your supplies, equipment, and invest into your marketing strategy, right? But you want to make sure you specify that thoroughly on the grant application. The grant application is definitely going to ask you, what would you use this money for? You want to be extremely detailed. I'm going to use this money for my supplies and equipment because if I have these certain type of supplies and equipment, then or if I have an overstock or a nice size stock of this supplies and equipment, then I'll be able to let's say do more clients, like serve more clients, right? So you might be having a challenge with, and you can also state this. My challenge is that I have so many clients that actually want to gain my services, but I'm not able to take them on simply because I lack the ability to have enough products and supplies to be able to serve. Okay, now we're back. Sorry. Okay, now we're back. Sorry, you guys. Okay, so yeah, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for waiting. If y'all don't know, I'm in Africa, so sometimes my internet can be in and out, but just bear with me. 30 seconds. I'm gonna reboot it. We'll be back in here. But yeah, you can definitely answer the question on the grant application, explaining how you would use the grant funds, how you would invest it into the supplies and equipment to be able to take on more clients and keep reaching those income goals. Okay, so that's really cool. What else? What else do we have? So yeah, you're welcome, lovely Diana. Drew says, I've been watching your grind. Proud of you. Thank you so much. Glory be to God for sure. Hey, what's going on, Eagle King? Hey, Dennis, how are you? Okay, so also feeling overwhelmed with the overall business system setup to qualify clients. Have great discovery in sales calls, closing sales, sending proposals, and delivering efficient transformation. Well, welcome to entrepreneurship. It'll get easier. Consistency is key. Sorry to hear you lost your grandma. Yeah, it's okay. Thank you so much. Um, Drew says, is there a grant for you to get money to start an LLC and buy the accessories like digital address, register agent, etc.? So what we've been discovering is that there's actually more grants available and you get higher chances of approvals if you are an already established business. Um, a lot of the times, what they are looking for, as far as in grants and also funding opportunities like loans, lines of credit, and credit cards, they want to see that you are investing into your business, your time, and your efforts. They want to see that you are going to be the one that is serious about locking in on your business. So having your basic foundations together shows that you are committed to the process. Having you are actually using your money that you earn right now, whether it's from a job or from you doing side gigs, and you investing into doing your LLC, EIN, website, getting a business bank account, and doing all of those things, then it shows that you are committed. Getting a virtual address, getting your LLC and all of those things, a total of that costs about $300 to $350. So if you can't even sacrifice $350, even if it's $175 from one check and another $175 from another check, then it just kind of shows that you might not be ready for entrepreneurship or you're not committed to the idea. And it also might show that you're not in that resourcefulness as of right now. So it's important that you actually invest your time and your money into doing it. While there can be a grant, very seldom, but usually towards the end of the year, right before the beginning of that following year, you would see grants where they would give you money to be able to start, but they will still ask you to have at least an LLC and an EIN number. You understand? So the basics in 2020, in 2020, when we had the whole PPP situation and a lot of people was just creating LLCs, when you have so many LLCs that come out of such a traumatic time and a crazy time, you understand, then it actually shows to systematically, it just shows that, okay, well, we're in our most challenging, hardest time ever in the world, and you guys are actually creating LLCs. You're actually using your money. A lot of people lost their jobs. They was too sick to go to work. A lot of people didn't even get paid, right? Because that was the whole point of the PPP. But a lot of people didn't get paid simply because we were locked on lockdown. But you had so many people that was willing to invest their last dollar into getting LLCs, whether they were doing fraud or they weren't. At the end of the day, when you had the most LLCs and startups and small businesses coming out of such a detrimental and traumatic time of the world, right? Then it just seems like, okay, well, now that we're 5 years out of that, you mean to tell me you can't do it? You were able to do it during 2020. And so that is the mindset behind the system when it comes down to getting funding. You understand, like, you guys was able to get all these LLCs. Even if you didn't and you didn't go for it yourself, that's you as an individual. But that's just kind of what it looks like. So it's very important that you sacrifice the money. If you believe in your idea, you know for a fact you're going to be serving your clients, you're going to be providing good products, do it. You don't understand what I'm saying? I just told you that I quit my job and I also got evicted from my apartment. But I had so much courage and so much faith, and I was so tired of working that 9 to 5. Honestly, I was so tired of working that job and just having to like deal with what I was dealing with on that job. I let it go. So I persevered. Like I had so much courage and like determination to make it work. You got to have that same passion as well. You got to have that same passion as well. Okay. Okay, cool. I stayed up yesterday going through grants for the first time in Grant Watch, and it's so many, even for individuals, elderly, musicians, artists, morals. Yes, absolutely. Grant Watch is a grant engine. So think of it like the Google for grants. Okay, you wouldn't really Google grants in my area or grants in my particular in my business, grants for my business. Like you wouldn't Google that. While that Google search is increasing 20 to 30% every year, you actually would not Google that. All right. You would use grant search engines. So you would just ask Google, give me a grant search engine that I can use to find grants. Okay. So when you are looking for grants, I love grantwatch.com. Okay. So, what have been your challenges? What are some of your wins? We talked about my wins. I really am happy that we had such a productive conversation this week on live. What last remarks, questions, or concerns do you all have? I told you I didn't want to keep you for too long today. So, we've already been on here for about 40 minutes. So, I want to know what else can I answer for you before I let you go on this beautiful Saturday so you can enjoy your weekend. And don't forget that I offer one-on-one consultations. The link is in the description. It's $50. You can visit superchargemybusiness.com. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And like this live stream so that way the YouTube algorithm can push it out to other entrepreneurs. Okay. It's Small Business Saturday. So I want to know, what have you guys been doing for your small business this week? Did you actually purchase your LLC? Did you go to the bank and open up that business bank account like I told you, friend? Did you finally create your own execution strategy and you have figured out finally exactly how you're going to make money with your new idea? Go ahead and tell me in the chat. It's so much opportunity even for your business to be seen by these places. You just never know who you'll meet in there. Absolutely. It's pure genius. Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, you guys tell me what's been going on for you this week. Mm, 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 mm. I've had like a really great week this week. I'm hoping that this week that's coming up that I'll be able to get some new consultations where we're going to talk more deeply as well. Um yeah. Oh, also I forgot to tell y'all. So I actually got two clients this week that they're like kind of in the same situation. One is in Florida and the other one is in New Mexico. And they both need like a commercial kitchen so they can be able to mass produce their products. And so I was like, what? This is so interesting. And so I think that's really cool because this is going to give me like some more experience on applying to grants specifically for the food and beverage industry. A lot of my clients I get are like, going into like doing services like consulting, and you guys are either in health, right? But food and beverage also, yeah, I get a lot of people in food and beverage too. But this is a different avenue, right? Because these clients, they're already generating revenue. One is a catering company in Florida, based out of North Florida. Another one is a juicing company. So they both need a commercial kitchen, which is super interesting. I was like, okay, this ain't nothing but God right here. Okay, because God is a divine orchestrator. So I was like, okay, this is what's going on. So I'm super excited about developing my experience with applying to grants that will help them, either get their own commercial kitchen, or be able to have the means to be able to rent out a really good commercial kitchen and to be able to mass produce their food. So I think this is cool. Matthew says, I would love to know which virtual address would Google Business allow. So I don't know, Matthew. Actually, try seeing if Google offers virtual addresses. That would be cool. And also Google the top. You can Google or Chat GPT. I will do ChatGPT, but whichever have you, and you can ask it like, give me the top five virtual addresses that would be you know that will be good for Google, right? Or that will be good to for Google to be verified for my Google business profile, right? What are the best? And it's also, you're not looking for Google's validation. You understand? The virtual address is just to give you a business address. For a lot of people, do it simply for like funding, and a lot of people actually do it who are in like spaces like the trucking industry. You have a truck and you are moving a lot, and you probably park your truck in a lot of different truck spaces because it might be, it's just more affordable for you to change different parking spaces, right? So you would do a virtual office address. A lot of people who do virtual office addresses also are like consultants, simply because you have the ability, like for example, WeWork is a virtual office and also a shared workspace. So if you are a consultant, you would use WeWork and you would book a time for you and your client to be able to meet in person at this, your local WeWork um, co-working space, and then also you can receive your physical mail there. And a lot of people get virtual office addresses simply because they would like for that place to receive their business mail, and also if you are going for like funding. But in 2025, a lot of people have been able to make millions of dollars just by having a home address. For example, remember that one lady who actually sells the I don't know if you all heard of this story, but she's an amazing woman. She started during 2020. She started out of her house and she started creating these like savings journals, right? So each journal has like it's like a folder, and each of them have like a slot where you can put like $5, $10, $20, and like by the end of the month or by the end of the year, you should have like over $10,000. This woman made $1 million out of her home, producing those and making them herself at her house. So home offices is a thing as well. So you can still use your personal address and use it as a home office, and also using your home as an office may be able to give you some sort of tax incentives at the end of the year when you are filing your taxes. Okay, so think about that. Okay, so currently researching low price platforms and systems to bootstrap my business. That is awesome. Yes, I remember her. Yeah, she went viral. I also took your storage unit advice from earlier this week. Okay, what storage unit? What did I say so much? I say so much. But okay, awesome. If I gave you some good advice, go for it. And if you can afford it, then go for it, right? Because, I don't know everybody's personal financial situation. So you do what's best for you, and be as resourceful as possible. That's all entrepreneurship is, being as resourceful as you can, not spending too much money, not spending too much time, but making as much money as you can, and spending less time on the job or on your business so you can spend more time with your family. That is financial freedom, right? So that's really the equation. Okay, you do your best, start a low cost business. Okay, so I'm trying to be like, because I can't really say much about my tech and like apps and stuff. But the tech ideas, right? The tech apps that I am invested in, I've always wanted to do these. You understand? This is like one of those big goals that I've always wanted to reach. 10 years of entrepreneurship, 10 years of consulting, 10 years of financial consulting, 10 years of small business development coaching, 10 years of grant writing. And now I'm at this point where I'm just now investing into tech. Okay. Now, I wish I could tell you what it is, but I'm not, because I would rather keep my face off of it. Because I wanted to just be a universally used app. But I'm saying that to say we have robust ideas. We all have dreams, right? Like I gave you an example earlier. You might want to do commercial cleaning for the White House. You understand? You might want to do commercial cleaning for all these big companies and stuff like that. but start small. And it is your community that will help you get there. You build a relationship, build trust with your community, and then they will be the ones that will vouch for you. They will vouch for you through social media and on your web pages with all these video testimonials. And you'll be able to have a really good pitch, which a pitch is essentially why you should be awarded the opportunity. And then you'll also be able to scale much quicker. I have a community of people that have been able to say, I've won a grant. I have the testimonials on my website. I have the testimonials here on YouTube. I have testimonials of like voiceovers of people sending me text messages and all kinds of stuff. I have a community of people all across the world that have been able to say, I've used her services. And even if I didn't use her grant writing services, she's taught me so much to where I was able to write my own grants. I've had a dedicated YouTube channel for 6 years. Some of you all have been watching me for years, but you have never booked a consultation with me. And I don't care whether you do or you don't. I know that you have been using some of the information that and the advice that I've given you. So I still win, right? We still win. You understand? It's a collective thing. So I serve based on the mission that I provide, and I do this every day, and I'm consistent at it. But if I would have never persevered, if I would have never went through that challenging mindset that I had and that fear that I had of, oh, I'm going to lose my apartment. Oh, I'm going to, all these material things that I was holding at such a high, oh, I'm going to lose this and I'm going to lose that. I had so many, I was so materialistic. I didn't even think I was. I was also prideful too. So it was, if had I not gotten over my own self, I probably still would have been looking for the next job to work, right? And the job market's not good right now. Or I probably would have still been taking a lot of nonsense and going through a lot of mental challenges, right? And stress with continuing to work that 9 to 5. And then also, I wouldn't have been able to have the courage to speak to you guys and educate you guys about the best ways and routes to take to start your business and how to get grants. Imagine, like, I wouldn't have been here. I wouldn't have been here in Africa, right? So use me as a prime example, friend. You got to do it. Okay. Would you one day share how apps can get into prisons, hospitals? Would I one day share? Probably not. Probably not. That's not my field. That's not my field. And I don't know. I wouldn't know how that works. That's definitely a ChatGPT question. Like where to start. It's HTML5 apps for games training. I think they also can have podcasts. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I have nothing to do with the prison. I stay far away from that. From my own traumatic experience, my dad was in and out of prison, and at the most needed times of my life. So I just like don't. I stay away from prison. So I really don't know what goes on in that area. Hey, Lakeisha. Lakeisha says, "Thank you for all you do, Shelby. Thank you for your service, advice, and commitment. Thank you. I truly appreciate it. Now it's time for you to get out there and serve and give out advice and be committed. It's your time now." I only started interacting with your content 2 days ago, and I can tell you truly service your audience and provide valuable information. I truly appreciate it. Thank you. I graciously appreciate that. I can see you doing testimonial podcasts one day. So much room to grow. Thank you for everything. So open. Yes. Oh yes. Um, have I done? I've done a few of those. I've done a few of those podcasts, but that was like years ago. That was years ago when I think when I was still doing credit repair. I did like a podcast, a few of them, and this was before like podcasts became like such a super huge thing. But I did a few of them where I was speaking about like my experience, my entrepreneurial experience, and my client type, things like that. But yes, there is still more room to grow. Still more room to grow. I don't know if you guys might or most likely will not see me on any of those podcasts. And that is also something that has been on my mind too. Like, why hasn't anybody asked me to be on their podcast? Right. But then I then learned that Sometimes you have to pay to be on their podcast. Yes, 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 yes. I learned this. I learned this. I learned this. I learned this. I said, oh, I'm not paying to be on somebody's podcast. That's not my style. That's not my style at all. When I learned that, and I was like, oh, okay, you have to pay. And so some of my peers, right, I will see them on other podcasts doing so many like collaborations and stuff. And it's not that I'm not like a mean girl or anything like that, obviously, but um, I'm just like a realistic person, and I feel like that's so. I hate to say, I just feel like it's kind of cliche to me. I'm a real person, so you don't need to see me on a podcast, um, and you don't need to see me on Forbes. You don't need to see me in this vendor booth or anything like that, because that's not how I get my clients. I've been able to get this far just strictly being on YouTube and connecting with the right people behind the scenes. My friends have been on Forbes. My friends have been on podcasts. My friends are podcasters, right? My associates, and they're very well known with millions of followers. But I don't have to, because I know these people and I'm a real person. And I just kind of feel like it's kind of, I don't know, I just see no point in it for me. I feel like I give out enough information. What I have done is on the back end, right? What I do is I collaborate with my friends who have their own communities. And actually, some of you guys actually came from those communities. And I do like free grant classes for their community. And I'm into their discords and in their chats and stuff. And they come and they join us here on YouTube. And by me doing these daily live streams, it just shows that I'm committed. And then they book a consultation with me, and we build a client relationship, right? So I don't stress myself out about it anymore. I used to think that that was like a thing where when you reach a certain income stream or you reach a certain goal, income goal, right? Let's say like you reach high six figures, and you're kind of feeling like, all right, well, I should be on a podcast, or I should do this, I should do that. No, no, don't put me on no podcast. Don't put me on no podcast so people can talk about my forehead. Okay, friend. Like, no, I'm okay. I'm fine. And I feel like you have to be so um uh you want to make sure you're saying things in a general sense. Um you don't want to step on anybody's toes. You don't want to make anybody, you don't want to say anything. Like, I'm just not that controversial person. Like I said, I'm a real person, and I'm very nice. I'm very nice, very sweet, very passionate about everything I say. And I hate to get on a podcast and then I say something like, you know, people are not going to take you serious if you don't get an LLC. And then people are going to be like, she's saying nobody's serious. That doesn't mean you're not serious. Like, I just don't have time for that. Okay. My mental health. My mental health. Video wellness. I meant your clients on yours. Oh, yes. Yes, for sure. Sharing our growth from you. Yes. Oh, so yeah, you guys do that in my community post on my website. And I have a link where you can just upload that. On my Etsy, where I sell my courses, I have like over 1,000 sales, over like hundreds of good comments. So yeah, I get a lot of good comments. Lakeisha says, LOL, yes, I learned we have to pay for a lot of collaboration. Yeah, I learned that. I was just like, no, it's not me. What God aligns, then it will happen. Absolutely. Absolutely. That is true. And you know deep down if it's like genuine or not, you know. Granted, like even when we're talking about these women, and I've let's just like have like a little conversation really quick. So I don't know if you guys have been seeing like these viral posts talking about these women brunches and women conferences, and these small business conferences are like scams, and they have like this mean girl energy or whatever have you. Okay, so I used to beat myself up about like, why are my peers clicking up together, clicking up, yes, I use that word, clicking up together, and they're doing like these conferences and all this stuff, but nobody has not even sent me an email, like, and my information is everywhere. So I started feeling like, dang, am I too like real, or I started feeling insecure. And so I started feeling like, what is going on? Then now here we come a few years later, and like more and more people, like the general public is saying like, we're not going to these things anymore. We're not going to these conferences. We're not going to any of these small business brunches or anything, because they're giving mean girl energy, and they just want us to praise them and just buy their stuff so they can continue to buy their Louis Vuitton bags, and they can continue to drive their Lamborghini cars, or they can continue to do this and do that, and it just has nothing to do with. And they're all saying the same thing. So now that I'm seeing these posts, I'm just like, oh, I'm actually happy that I'm not a part of that group at all. See, while I'm over here stressing myself out about feeling unworthy and feeling like and looking for validation from other people, God is telling me, my child, don't worry about it. That ain't your group. That's not your group. Don't worry about it. You are a loner. You're doing this on your own. I got you. It's me and you. And by the time you get there, a lot of information gonna come out about these people that you think that they doing all this because of social media, and they not really doing much. They're not doing what I called them to do. So now that I have that understanding, I'm like, oh, right, cool. Do you do grant writing for Canadians? Yes. I think people want to relate with real people. Absolutely. That is true. Lakeisha says, no, this is for real. I'm so glad I'm not a part of that group. I'm so glad I found you, my virtual businesses. Absolutely. I hear some horror stories too in our consultations. I've been hearing horror stories. Like, one of my clients last week, she was like, we were in a consultation. She was like, I paid like all this money, whatever, for this, to be a part of this community group. I was paying on a monthly basis, and I just kind of feel like I didn't get much. I wasn't getting like what I needed. And she was saying that nothing against the person, but she just don't like that business model. So I don't know if you guys have ever, came across a business model where you will pay a upfront fee or like a deposit. You would join a group, like a Discord group or something, and then you would pay monthly to be in this group. So let's say like $50 or whatever. And then you only have access to that person who runs the group and who's giving the information once a month. So you have like monthly calls, but the monthly calls is like over 100 people, or like 100 people or 50 people all on this call, and everybody's trying to get their questions answered, right? So my client says she doesn't like that business model anymore, because she just kind of felt like she never really got what she was there for, and she needs something more handheld. She needs something more intimate. And that made me realize that, I've always had an intimate business model, even though I do have a team of grant writers that are certified under me, and they actually write grants for my clients. But I am the one that actually writes the business plans and the pitch decks, and I'm very personable about and serious about doing my one-on-one consultations. Have you guys ever booked a consultation with, let's say, a business coach? I'll give you my experience. I booked a consultation with a woman business coach. She, I don't know if I should say her name. Very well known in the podcast space as well. And she does not take her own initial consultations. While I understand, she only speaks to her high ticket clients, it also just kind of made me feel like, okay. I would rather had, personally for me, I'm booking this consultation because I want to speak directly to you. But okay, cool. I understand your business model and I respect it. You understand? Um, so yeah, if you are doing free consultations, I totally get it. You can have your staff and they could just talk to you about, what you offer, things like that. That was something I had thought about doing, whereas I just have one, like I hire a girl here in Africa with me, and she just takes in free calls and free consultations, right? Because I noticed that a lot of people have been trying to call me. So I'm like, okay, well, let's do this. We can offer free consultations based off of we're only discussing what my services are. But when you have actual questions about like business development questions and how to do this. Okay, sorry. My audio was out. I'm sorry. Thank you. So, yeah, that's okay. My mic's dead. Sorry, guys. So what I was saying was I had thought about that business model as well. Whereas, I would hire a girl, she would just take phone calls for free and tell you how much my services are and what I offer, instead of you having to pay and ask that. But I don't know. I just kind of I've been playing around with that, trying to figure that out. Let's see. Do you teach people how to write grants? Yes, I do. Actually, I have an entire everything that I say here on my live streams is like literally everything that you need to know. I have an entire dedicated, and it's free. I have an entire dedicated playlist on my YouTube channel. It's called the Grant Masterclass. There's 5 videos there. They're 6 to 10 minutes each. 10 minutes each, and each video is going to give you step by step on how to properly search and apply to grants, how to be prepared for them. All of your frequently asked questions about grants will be in that playlist. So it's very direct, very informative, and it has some really great transitions and editing. And I think that you would like it a lot. It's very engaging. So that playlist has all you need to know about how to apply to grants. And I created that playlist that way it would be one, it's free, right? And it can be that direct information that you might need. So while you're in the process of searching and applying to your grants, you can kind of like work alongside with the video. So yeah. Yep. All right, so I'm gonna let you all get on with your amazing Saturday. The audio went out, so that means we've definitely been on here for more than an hour. I really do appreciate you joining me this Saturday. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and turn on push notifications on my YouTube channel so that way you won't miss any other times that I'm going live on YouTube. We will be back on here same time on Monday. All right, Sundays, I bless the Lord, I praise the Lord, so we don't get on here on Sundays at all, unless I'm doing something special for my channel members. But remember, tomorrow, which is Sunday, my second video to my business playlist is going to be there. I created a new YouTube series. It's called Don't Just Start a Business, Build a Business. And so the first video is already out, so you can go to my YouTube channel and click on playlist, and you'll be able to see that playlist as well. But the second video uploads tomorrow, so I hope you guys turn on push notifications for that. It's going to be a really, really good episode. I think you'll like it, okay? Thank you, Sandra. Thank you, love. Have a great Saturday. We will see you again soon. I will be working with you soon, so I can't wait. Pray to see me in the motherland soon. Amen. Absolutely. All right. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you on Monday. Bye bye.